What's going on, peeps? This is your man, Derrick Terry, host of I'm Not Complaining. I'm just saying, where if you're going to complain, bring some solutions to the table. Hey, before we get started on season 9, episode 4, I know some are already hating, so let me go ahead. Yes, I'm a diehard Cowboys fan. I was born in Texas. I've been to the stadium many a time, the old and the new. And I'm from Alabama. So, if you see Crimson Tide and you upset that we in the championship, or we in the playoffs. Sorry, we in the playoffs. I don't want to jump too soon. We in the playoffs. Hey, I didn't write the system. I didn't make the selection. Could have been a lot of teams that could have been in there. I felt Florida State should have been in there. But when you look at the total picture, I don't know. All I know is I'm happy we in there. Sorry, a lot of my friends are Florida State fans, and I was rooting for you, but I don't control it. And at the end of the day, it's not that serious. None of them give me no paycheck, and it's not going to impact anything I do in my life. So with that, we're going to go ahead and get started. The show is called Charter. So for anybody who lives in a charter form of government, especially in Maryland, which it could be Baltimore County, Harford County, Montgomery County, Prince George's County, I believe Wycomico, but I don't know, but there's 11. I do know there's 11. There's 11 counties, and Charles County not being one of them. So the reason I'm on here is really to address Charles County residents, and I guess basically some residents and sitting commissioners that continue to cry foul and complain about one board, which is the Charles County Charter Board, who was selected by the Charles County Board of Commissioners by a vote of 3-2. And their mission, if they chose to accept it, which they did, is to draft a charter that will change the present code home rule form of government to charter form of government for Charles County. The proposed charter will go over before the voters for ratification in 2024 general election. The proposed charter shall include, but it is definitely not limited to, the duties, power, rules, procedures, and structure of local government. So that's a lot to take in. For the most part, what the charter is doing is to take away what I consider to be the archaic form of government for the population in which it serves. We are a growing county, a very diverse county, a county that right now thrives on property taxes, but needs to also be able to thrive on business taxes. And I don't know too many thriving home rule counties that have a strong base when it comes to economic development. Now, you look at the charter forms, which would happen to be, and I'll go through the list: Anne Arundel County, Baltimore County, Howard County, Montgomery County, let me see, Cecil, Dorchester, Frederick, Hartford, did I already mention that one? Montgomery, Prince George's, Talbot, and Wycomico. All those have charter forms of government. And if you happen to visit any of those counties, you can see the growing tourism industry, but also the economic development that is within their county. Now, before I get into the meat of what I'm talking about, the charter board is an all-volunteer board, but they continue to have sitting commissioners, as well as citizens, assassinate their character. They raise false accusations about the violation of the Hatch Act, which obviously I'm assuming they can't read nor comprehend what the Hatch Act says, but you can go to Dr. Google or Dr. Bing and it will definitely tell you what the Hatch Act is. They spread disinformation and all these shenanigans, despite no actual charter being submitted to the commissioners for final review. That's the key. There's not a document or anything for them to read as of yet. So let me say this. Some might agree, some might disagree, some might even think that I'm being rude. But to be honest, in my opinion, if you find something to be unappetizing, or you can put it like this, you say it's unappetizing, but you haven't even tasted it. So how do you know? You say the music is too loud or it's too profane and nasty, but you haven't heard any of it. This is what they're kind of doing. They're disagreeing with a document, which in this case would be the charter, that doesn't even exist yet. I want y'all to think about it. Don't even exist yet. So let's explore some truths. And I talked about this earlier. There are 11 Maryland counties with the charter form of government. I already went over it, so I'm not going to go through it. But, of the 11 charter counties, Anne Arundel, Baltimore County, Howard, Montgomery, and Prince George's County, they each have a separate police department with an average population of 781,239. And the largest being Montgomery County with a little over 1 million. And the smallest being Howard County with about 350,000. Of the remaining charter counties, which would be Cecil, Dorchester, Frederick, I'm sorry, I'm looking at this Washington game. They're getting beat bad and I feel good. Oh, I'm sorry. But of the remaining charter counties, Cecil, Dorchester, Frederick, Howard, Talbot, Wacomico, 6 of them have sheriff departments. And the average population is around 140,000, with the largest being Frederick County with about 280 some odd thousand, and the smallest being Dorchester, which has about 32,500. Now, why do I bring that up? I bring that up because, as you recall, the charter board has somewhat modeled Frederick County, and the sitting and some former commissioners have used Frederick County in some form or fashion when it has been advantageous for some legislation, resolution, or whatever. But they continue to use, and I want you to hear this, they continue to use Prince George's County as a mascot of negativity when it comes to Charles County. I'm going to tap into that one to see what I'm talking about. For those who know anything about Prince George's County, research right now, go on Dr. Google or Dr. Dean. So when I get to it, you'll kind of understand what I'm talking about. But anyways, based on the data, it would make no budgetary sense to create a separate police department, and the charter board has well demonstrated enough common sense to understand that. So let me go ahead and address the complainers or the antagonists once, but I know it's not going to be for all. I'll probably be back on here again. First thing, we don't want to be like Prince George's County. We don't want a charter. First, who the hell is we? And what does like Prince George's County really mean? I'll tell you what it means. It is we does not look like me, because me, all of this is like Prince George's County. But not to forget my folks who look like me, but agree with we reminds me of the saying that my late grandfather used to say, sometimes your kind can be the worst kind. So let me move on. Next point. Some keep comparing apples to oranges, as Charles County isn't remotely close to Prince George's County in population, amenities, land use, or budget. For those who've been in Prince George's County and then in Charles County, if I tell you, hey, come on down to Charles County, first thing you're going to say is do what? We don't have a sports team. We don't have an entertainment venue. We don't even have a sports complex or anything like that, although we do have the Capitol Clubhouse that there's no feasibility study for, but yet they let an ice hockey rink, or whatever you want to call it, use the majority of it, when we know that a vast majority of people who use it don't live in this county. That I can guarantee. They do not use that ice rink, a vast majority coming from here, especially if you look at in Waldorf, look at the population. But the only similarity that can be made when it comes to Prince George's County is the race, where African Americans make up a vast majority of Prince George's County, and they also make up a majority of Charles County. I want y'all to keep that in mind. I'm still going. All right. So next point. We have a sitting commissioner, and I don't name drop, but you all can research. that overstresses Prince George's County government and the corruption. And let me go back. We have probably 2 sitting commissioners that do that, and former commissioners who overstress Prince George's County government, talk about the corruption, the issues, as though other charter counties don't exist. But they also keep in mind that you have different other forms of government. You have theocracy, monarchy, and all these other governments that have happened throughout the world that are not exempt from corruption. I just want to put that out there. They're not. And this is no different. But in my opinion, because his base doesn't want African Americans to flood the county, nor county government, it is though the script has not been flipped before. So if you research Charles County some 20 years and back, what was comprised of? I'll let Dr. Google or Dr. Bing figure that out for you. But I'm not going to hold that against any sitting commissioner, because at least I know all of them, including the 3 other ones that are currently in office. They have no issue with Waldorf being considered a municipality, which is a charter form of government, which largely consists of likes of me, which makes absolutely no damn sense. I want you to think about that. They're against a charter form of government, but they're okay with Waldorf, which is a charter form of government, being a municipality, where the only people that are going to have a say would be those like myself who live in Waldorf. And the rest of Charles County, really, you won't have any say. So let me keep going. There's another point. When I talk about the disinformation, sitting commissioner said that for the most part, that if we have a charter form of government, then we would take over the school system. That's false. Maryland law prohibits any public school district from falling under the government rule and under the charter form of government, except in the case of Prince George's County, when the CEO, as well as several members, wanted to take it to the General Assembly to modify that, to give the CEO some oversight over who they pick as the board president, as well as some other factors in there. But that was something that was promoted by the citizens, the CEO, where the Maryland delegation voted and gave them special permission. That's not going to happen. All right. Next point. The charter board was handpicked. I'm not sure how many people know anything about, well, I wouldn't say politics, but about a simple majority or majority rule. So I've been living here since 2006. There's 5 commissioners, commissioner president, and then you have commissioners that are voted, at least in the past, by everyone in the county, but they had to live in either District 1, 2, 3, or 4. To me, that's stupid, but that's what they did. They changed it now, but I don't know why they could have changed it back then. But anyways, let me move on. I've dealt with several 3-2 or 4-1 majority votes when it comes to issues, board selections, legislation, resolution. Newsflash, it happens in every administration. So for example, if you look at 2014 from the present, whether it was a 3-2 or a 4-1 majority, there were 29 legislative or resolution votes that went in the favor of whomever was the commissioner president, and where they had his or her campaign ticket. So just to really give you an example of what I'm talking about, give me a second. Let me share my screen so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. So if you look right here, and hopefully you can see it, starting in 2014, you look right here, presidents, these were all the commissioner presidents. These were all the members right here, column C. If you look in column D, this was simple majority. So when Kelly was president, these were the people that were on her campaign. And when I say that, for the most part, well, I wouldn't say necessarily in her campaign. What I would say is they were the simple majority. 2014 really didn't have any major things, but for the most part, I just used 2014 to kind of give you leeway 2013 because then 15 because we had a change. So when Peter Murphy was the president, I know for a fact this was his campaign slate right here. Murphy, Robinson, and Stewart. And this is about the only time I'll name drop. And if you look at the tallies, anything in which like real property tax. So when people talk about, our taxes go up, they imposed this real property tax transfer. So that was one of the things. But anyways, I'll let you look at it at your leisure. So what I'm saying is regardless of how you look at it, whoever is president, whoever, and I'm going to say on their campaigns, but who pretty much is in favor or is in line with most of your policies. You're going to have that simple majority. Just like, it's going to happen. And you can see it here. So I'm going to stop sharing and let me get back to what I was talking about. So it happens. But what I will say is that also it has been common practice, not to appoint anyone who ran for a commissioner. So, I ran for a commissioner, but other people ran for commissioners. And when we wanted to, volunteer for boards, for the most part, that aren't paid or minimal and take a lot of our time, if those boards garnered any public attention, such as the Board of Public Appeals, the Liquor Board, the Planning Growth Commission, to name a few, we didn't get on those boards. Now, I can't get the evidence that I need because applicants are considered employees, but I guarantee you, if you look at who ran for commissioner and then look to see whether or not they were on any boards, they weren't, or at least any that garnered any public attention. Next, actually, my last point. For those that are opposing the charter form of government, I want you to think about this, okay? I just really want you to think about this. Let's say, hypothetically, the charter board passes and you don't like what you see in it. Well, you decide to allow sitting commissioners to take away your basic civil right to provide input on how you want the government to function or to be structured because you said no without ever reading and comprehending the charter, because it doesn't exist yet. This thing about it doesn't exist. Now, if this also fails, I'm telling you, and I want you to leave you with this. During the past board meeting, all 5 commissioners are on record stating they're in favor of supporting Waldorf residents and petitioning Waldorf to become a municipality. Yet 2 of those 5 are against the appointed charter board, as well as the drafting of the charter to be voting basically be voted by the Charles County residents. So I want you to make this make sense, because if the charter fails, best believe myself and thousands others will petition for Waldorf to be a municipality. And the current charter that they're working on, that will be the least of your worries, because we will use this proposed charter as a roadmap for Waldorf residents to make an educated choice. And guess what? If you live in Waldorf, your opinion won't matter. We won't even care to hear your opinion because you won't be the ones that'll be voting on. But you have the opportunity to vote or provide some input on something right now. So either you're going to have a new charter form of government or be ready for this municipality. The choice is yours. Choice is yours. Like Black Sheep said, choice is yours. But bet on it. I'm about to get off because I think I'm rambling enough. But I'm going to leave you with this. In all, what is understood should not have to be explained. Do your homework. Go to charter board meetings. Make your voice known. Go on the website. Find the information, not the disinformation that sitting commissioners continue to disseminate to you, because some reason they must think you ignorant or you ain't gonna do your own research, okay? Over a document that is not even in existence yet. It is being worked on. That's the key. But hey, I've said enough. Peace and blessings. and be on the lookout for episode 5. I don't know what it's going to be about, but hey, right now, roll tide, them boys. Peace and blessings.